Hey D&D players, what's the best use of wish that you've ever seen? Now obviously players can't just say, I wish to defeat the big bad evil guy and end the campaign to live happily ever after. So, in your opinion, what's the best use of it that you've seen at your table or at somebody else's table? Us D&D players can never really get enough. Whether you play 3 times a week or once a month, part of you always craves more. We get our fix however we can, by watching short stories online, D&D live streams, Baldur's Gate. Well, allow me to offer you something new. The best available follows a party of new adventurers trying to make a name for themselves in hopes of being sponsored in a competition. Waterdeep's Festival of Heroes, which sees the chosen parties delving into the depths of Undermountain, risking life and limb to suppress the evils and monsters below to protect the city above. The dungeon of the Mad Mage is filled with danger, treasure, glory, and mysteries yet to be revealed. Come watch the journey from humble beginnings into heroic legend as we adapt a campaign years in the making into an illustrated web series with art from Doodle Poodle, author of Tales from the Tables. We pride ourselves in converting hours-long sessions into smoothly paced episode with limited animation, music, blood, sweat, and tears. Get in on the ground floor of something great and join the Forever DM's table today. Link in the description. I had a very silly one-shot as goblins finding a dead archmage's treasure vault. Had a ring of wishes in it. When we went outside into bright light and the person wearing the ring said, I wish it wasn't so bright outside. And the sun abruptly dimmed. Well, that's one way to do it. I was pretty happy with mine. Thanks to stupid good rolling on a random item table, my warlock got a scroll of wish in our second ever session at level 2. I kept that thing for well over a year until we were about level 10. By which point, it became clear that our big bad evil guy was a coalition of power-hungry leaders secretly controlling the world from the shadows. So, I used the following wish. I wish for the ability to track the members of the big bad evil guy and to sense their influence. Now, once per day, I get a free scry on one of them that they cannot sense in any way. And if we ever meet anybody affiliated or working for them, my warlock instantly knows and can be wary. Ooh, it's so useful. In a previous multi-year level 17 campaign, I cast Wish to wish our party free of a demonic plane and safely to a churchyard to recoup. Our DM chose to interpret my admittedly non-specific use of the term our party to include everyone and anyone who had ever been part of the party, including every single NPC who had ever been with us, as well as old player characters that had since split all to the same place and time, including many we had bad blood with or otherwise didn't want to see. So things got awkward fast, especially because due to additional circumstances, we were naked. There's a lot of questions that I have here. Most importantly, is this person, your DM included, unable to understand our party? If you don't like the person, how are they considered in your party? Someone please clarify all of that in the comments. My brain can't handle it right now. At the end of our last multi-year campaign, I ended it by my party each being granted one wish to send their characters off. Our bard wished to be turned into a living song that's forever stuck in the people's heads, and they can't quite think of what it is. Now tied with that, our Tortle monk wished to wake up in the real world in 1983 as Kevin Eastman and invent the Ninja Turtles. Wishing the world a Merry Christmas at the end of a level 17 holiday one-shot. Okay, I'm sorry, I kinda teared up a little bit at that because that's really cute. If I get to play my wizard to the end of the campaign, if he doesn't die, lol, I'll get him to wish to be reunited with his dead wife. Basically killing him, but at least he's in a better place. I wished to entrap Tiamat in a small glass sphere. The party had all been down once or twice, and it was headed for a wipe. Rolled 2 nat 20s in a row, so the DM allows it. Now my character is basically the cat in Men in Black, guarding something incredibly powerful that everyone wants. If you were named Orion, I'd really be impressed. During a 3.5 campaign, our DM dared to present a deck of many things. Ugh, that's terrifying. One of the drawn cards grants 1d4 wishes. That player wished that none of the black negative result cards had been drawn. When running Curse of Strahd, I told my players when they found the Luck Blade that they could not wish for Strahd to be dead or wish for them to be freed. After about a week of time passes, we have the next session and we begin the boss fight. After some back and forth, it's the fighter's turn. He tells me he wants to use his action to cast Wish with the blade. So I ask him, what do you wish for? He says, I will for everyone that Strahd has ever killed to come back to life and beat his ass! The end of our game was basically a long narration as I described thousands of zombies crawling up through the floor, culminating in Argunvost coming in and killing the vampire with dragon fire. Back in high school, mid-90s, one of my players gave me a 10-page handwritten letter spelling out his wish. I wish I had kept it, but I gave it back to him. One of my players wished that the party was not facing a particularly tough opponent. As a good DM, I dutifully turned all the PCs around 180 degrees. The monster got a free attack, and you are a bad DM. Wish to cast Simulcarum as an action, making a copy of one of the big bad evil guys. On top of being an extremely powerful minion, she was also able to reveal some very useful information that her original self knew. The DM gave us a magic item that allowed us to cast Wish as much as we wanted, but it had to be 3 words long. Now, I don't remember any of our wishes, only that he made liberal use of the room that Limit gave him to monkey paw us. I highly recommend it for one-shots. My party got a ring of wishes thanks to rolling on a loot table. I gave it only 1 wish left, but they still had a wish. They held on to it for months before a new party member was added and they found out about the ring. They started planning on game-breaking ways to use it, such as furthering the advancement of technology 100 years forward instantly. So ballistas turned into cannons, wooden walls turned to stone, crossbows to guns, etc. The rogue of the party watched him planning this and thought that they wouldn't get what they wanted out of the wish. They were planning on stealing the ring in the middle of the night and using the wish themselves. But then they found a compromise. They wished for each party member to get a creature of their description that they mentally control and can summon and desummon from a pocket dimension. In the end, the rogue of the party got his dinosaur. Hell yeah! 3 wishes. I wish that my wishes are granted exactly and only in the manner I intend. I wish that I can set a specific moment in time and space that is safe to return to and change it daily. I wish that each member of the party knows a mental command word to return all members of the party to the moment in space-time created in my second wish. This use of a ring of 3 wishes was used immediately before playing Tomb of Horrors to create a save game and a load game. You're real clever. I gave a fully charged, 3 uses of Wish, Luck Blade to a low-level party of new players. It was absolute chaos. They were my roommates in college, and we mostly played to shoot the shit and roll some dice. I wasn't super harsh on rules while I was introducing them to the game, and knew they didn't know the mechanics well enough to abuse anything. So I gave them the aforementioned Luck Blade, a belt of Storm Giant strength, and a few other insane items for their level. My goal was to get them able to fight a dragon at a lower level and terrible combat strategy, because they were begging since we started. Now they immediately wished for a, and I quote, fuck ton of gold! So I filled their houses back home to the brim with gold bars, so it would at least be a pain to clear out. Then the sorcerer put on the belt of giant strength and started taunting her barbarian boyfriend, saying, You're weaker than me, you're weaker than me, ha 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 ha. He grabbed the luck blade and used a full-on wish to just say, "The sorcerer not having the belt." So I disintegrated it. The last wish was then spent reviving a blink dog and making it their companion. That was the best damn use of that item that I could have ever imagined. Pure silliness, lots of laughs. I ran a level 20 one-shot with a group that I allowed to bring some of their characters from our other campaigns into. The party fights some devils and corrupted celestials, and the fighter, who loves fighting with as many weapons as she can, finds a sword with a single wish spell on it. It was heavily foreshadowed that this sword was going to be the only way to undo the effect that they'd come to solve, but she didn't really care at all. I wish for more arms so that I can be my most effective as a fighter. Oh god. For the rest of the one-shot, a 4-armed human fighter named Aline Bearblade absolutely wrecked shit with her 6 attacks pre-action surge per turn. It was a blast. So, for plot reasons, the wizard learned a Raise Dragon spell and had used it to raise and gain control of a Draco Lich. Oh god, that's bad. We then used his new mount, Keith, to defend the magocratic city obsessed with necromancy against an invasion of red wizards. We had a series of combats, and by the time we got to the final battle, Keith was starting to get pretty low on hit points. So were the rest of the party, but the DM had been very clear that since it was a Draco Lich, we were unable to restore his hit points with our healing spells. Well, the battle starts to go poorly, and I asked the DM a couple questions. Can I see the wizard and Keith? They were pretty far away from the rest of combat, as the wizard player has decided they were very attached to their new best friend, and was playing hit-and-run tactics to stay out of the damage range as much as possible. The DM confirmed that my bard could see the wizard and Keith. I also asked the DM to confirm that Keith counted as a creature. His brow furrowed as he affirmed that yes, Keith was a creature. Rewind time! Several sessions earlier, as we persuaded a dragon corpse to raise, we had encountered a Marid who offered us the opportunity to draw from the deck of many things. I did, and I got 3 wishes out of it. So I announced that I cast Wish to restore everyone in my party, including Keith, to full health. The DM's jaw dropped. He had intended for Keith to drop during the fight because he certainly didn't want us to have access to a Draco Lich as a mount after this story arc. We then finished the assault easily. It probably wasn't as flashy as some creative uses of Wish, but for me, the moment of catching my DM off his guard, which never, ever happens, he's very sharp, remains an incredible memory. This may sound like a humble brag since it was me, but I was completely ignorant of the context, so in retrospect, I think it was a pretty funny mistake on my behalf. I joined a campaign fairly late as a mechanical fill for someone who had to drop out. They didn't have any frontliners. So I made a Warforged monk, with my backstory being that I'd been at the bottom of a well for the last few centuries, operating a pump. Yes, I stole it from P. Terry. I figured after the first few decades, it was a lot like meditation, and it was a good way for my character to enter the campaign and have absolutely zero context for anything. No knowledge of history or geography, as he was as clean a slate of character as I was a player. Throughout the next dozen sessions or so, the other party members kept talking about mourning a sister who had died, and wanting to avenge her death. And there was quite a lot of talk about this dead sister being a huge plot point for much earlier in the campaign. Well, we ended up coming across a deck of many things. I failed an Arcana roll when I picked it up, so I drew a card. It was the moon. The group got excited and the DM said, "Okay, I think we can end it there so you can take some time to think about what you'll wish for." And I just cut him off and said, "I wish for dead sister's name to be resurrected here, right now, and be reunited with her brother and friends. This sounds like it could be a bad freaking idea. The entire group was shocked but really happy. Oh, it was a good thing. And it felt right for my monk who had no real material desires of his own and only sought enlightenment. Joke's on me, though. I thought the dead sister was backstory, but it turned out she was a player character who had been killed, and the player re-rolled as her brother. She ended up being a DMPC for a while before deciding to just retire from adventuring. Okay, this was all a really wholesome and cute story, and I love it. 10 out of 10 for you, buddy. Hey everybody, Brian Von VA checking in after the vid. Make sure to leave a like, subscribe, and it would really be a huge favor to all of us if you rang that bell too, because we love you all, and we want to make sure you get the best content for D&D possible at your fingertips. That said, down in the comments below, let us know, what was the best use of Wish that you've ever seen as a player, DM, anything? We love you all. Please be safe, happy, and healthy. See you next time. Bye for now.